My name is Katie.
My name is Kenny.
And we are going to be revealing the 2019 Secret Soap series today. So if you haven't watched all of the videos, stop, because this contains all the spoilers. I'm going to leave the entire playlist linked in the upper right hand corner now. So start from the very beginning. There's a hint at the end of every single video. See if you can figure out the Secret Soap series before you come and watch this video. All of the soaps featured in this video will be available today, October 5th at 3 p.m. Central Standard Time at Royalty Soaps. And if you haven't ever purchased from us before, you probably don't know how this system works. We have a very, very, very limited quantity. So if you see something you like, get it as fast as you can because we may never make it again and it will probably sell out quickly given the theme.
Tease, tease.
Okay. If you haven't watched all the videos, time's up. We're about to spoil it. Here we go. The Secret Soap theme of 2019 is Studio Ghibli.
Lots of people already guessed that this was it. In fact, they guessed from the very first video, and we were shocked and intrigued how people could guess all of the soaps and tie them into the theme. So Studio Ghibli is one of my favorite animation studios. It's based out of Japan, and the best way to describe them is to just say that they are Japanese Disney. They have a very distinct style that you can see throughout their movies. They're very whimsical. They're very kid-friendly in general.
Lots of different color and great attention to detail, which is what I enjoy. So obviously Kenny introduced me to Studio Ghibli. I don't watch anime. I'm not all like Japan crazed like this one over here. But he showed me Studio Ghibli, Spirited Away, and Howl's Moving Castle. And those were the first two things that I watched, and I loved it. So for those of y'all who've never seen one of those films, Kenny and I were talking about it, and we would suggest watching Ponyo first.
Or My Neighbor Totoro, either one.
That's right. And both of them are so just, I want to say cuddly. That's how I think of them. They're like cuddly films. They're wonderful rainy day films, perfect for grabbing a little snack and like a tea and just sitting down and enjoying it. So that's what we would suggest if you haven't ever seen them.
But just as a warning, all Ghibli movies are a little bit emotional if you're prone to that sort of thing, so be ready to tear up.
We have been talking about doing another Secret Soap series for a very long time, and the last one that I did was 4 years ago, so it's been a really long time coming. And we actually picked both the month we were going to do it in and the theme that we were going to do all the way in March. So we've had that long to plan. We had all of our designs way at the beginning of summer completely done. The only thing that did change, for those of y'all who really enjoy Ghibli, was we were not able to make a Totoro soap because of the time-intensive nature of it. We did not know we were going to be moving studios. So all of our soaps being made was right during the transition time. That was going to be something that was going to be very time-intensive, very labor-intensive. I'm sorry for all the people who were in the comment section being like, if there's not a Totoro soap, I'm going to sue.
The character Totoro is very important to me, and I told Katie if we couldn't do it right, we shouldn't do it yet. So we're just putting it off for a little while, and we're going to make the perfect Totoro soap in the future.
So we're going to start by showing you guys the original concept art, and then we're going to talk a little bit about the movie itself. We're going to make this pretty concise, but this is a very detailed look into mine and Kenny's like imaginative, creative brain. And I'm hoping that with this video as well, for those of y'all who are creatives and like to craft things, be it something with resin art, be it with soap or baking, that this maybe gives you some inspiration as well. Maybe gives you a few tips for how you can come up with your next theme or your next set of designs.
And hopefully it'll sucker you into watching every one of these movies.
That's right. So we're gonna hold up my original concept art and Kenny's too. So Secret Soap number 1 is called Steampunk Meadow, and you can see this is the original concept art. It has gears on top, it has little petals and florals. I was all about mixing both industrial and the natural. The movie this is originally based on is called Howl's Moving Castle, even though Kenny told me later on this also fits with Castle in the Sky, which I have not seen before.
How I would describe Howl's Moving Castle, it is a very epic adventure, and you see the main character, the heroine, change from a very mousy and shy self into the person that she becomes. And it is so magical to see that transformation and her relationship with Howl himself. No spoilers here, though.
We're not going to tell you too much about that one because we really want you to go watch it. But with this particular soap, I tried to mix two different aesthetics. The industrial, steampunk, rusty, very developed look of metals with the natural, overgrown. It ends up looking like lots and lots of steampunk gears and maybe some rust dark colors with some greens and some florals. And I think together it ended up being something really, really cool, and I love the swirl that was inside. So that is secret soap number 1. The hint at the very end was the word steampunk with a gear. So it was kind of easy. We thought it wasn't too specific, and then people were like, you said steampunk? How's Moving Castle, I think.
We just say the word steampunk and you know what we're doing? You're too smart.
Secret soap number 2 was simply called Ghibli Treasure. Treasure is a very common theme in the Ghibli movies. There's lots of different movies that has the treasure in it. So we thought we would just do a general treasure artisan soap. Howl's Moving Castle has treasure. Spirited Away has treasure. Ponyo has treasure. They like treasure. They like drawing treasure.
You forgot Porco Rosso has treasure.
Porco Rosso has treasure. I think that animation studio likes drawing treasure because in every single one, they draw each individual like gold coin stacked up with like buckets that are floating in the back with gems spilling out.
Castle in the Sky has treasure too. Like a lot of it. Like chests and chests of gold.
So we didn't want to do anything specific. It's just Ghibli equals likes to draw treasure equals Katie has been wanting to do a treasure soap forever. That's how treasure happened. So the hint at the end of the video is simply treasure. We didn't want to be too specific.
Simply treasure.
Simply treasure.
The hint was treasure. Well, it's clear to see it's treasure.
Here is the concept art for secret soap number 3. This is called Sinto, which means bathhouse in Japanese. This is my favorite soap from the whole collection, and it is based on a movie called Spirited Away.
So Spirited Away is about a little girl that goes into a very different world.
A spirit world.
She encounters very many monsters and very many challenges, and one of her jobs is to clean the bathhouse where she has been housed.
So for the design, I wanted to mix a couple of things together. The very top is the water that flows into a bathhouse to clean all of the spirits that are coming in. And on top is pink salt, which of course is very spa-like because you put bath salts in your water. Very cleansing, aromatherapy. And then underneath, the middle part of the soap. I was not going to tell you guys what this was inspired by. I specifically said that I looked at a Skillshare Photoshop tutorial, and that was how to make terrazzo tile. And so many of y'all recognized the terrazzo style in the soap, which makes me feel like I actually did a good job if y'all knew what I was talking about. Terrazzo is not Japanese, it is Italian. However, every time I personally look at it, I always think of a spa or like a poolside. So that's why I kind of blended those two, even though again, it's not really Japanese, but really like the style of it. And I liked the colors of it. So that's why we ended up putting those two together to create the bathhouse, which pulls in all of the Spirited Away themes. At the end for the hint, this is also why we picked a train ticket and train sounds, because Spirited Away, one of the most iconic scenes, is her sitting, the little girl sitting in a train with one of the spirits, his name is No Face, and them riding away from the bathhouse to the next destination. Another note on the ticket hint at the end of all of the videos is that both the platform and the ticket number were also very specific. Number 615 stands for June 15th, which was the day that Studio Ghibli was incorporated in the year of 1985. So that's what those two little hints were. Somebody actually figured that out.
Yeah, somebody guessed it. Unbelievably.
Unbelievably. I was so impressed. Y'all's sleuthing skills are just unprecedented. Is that what that means?
Yeah, unprecedented means there's no precedent.
I thought I said like uncalled for.
Is unacceptable.
Unacceptable.
Your sleuthing skills are unacceptable.
Secret soap number 4 is called Arrietty's Afternoon, and it is based on the movie called The Secret World of Arrietty.
The Secret World of Eric. So one of the things that makes this movie so special is because it is based on The Borrowers, which is one of my mother's, mine, and Katie's favorite books. So immediately, whenever we saw that it was based on that, we were like, Ghibli, Borrowers, perfect fit. And it's very accurate to the story, very accurate to the characters, and it really convinces you that there are tiny people in everybody's home just trying to get by with any cheese that they can steal at night or any pins that they can pick up to use as swords.
So Arrietty being so close to my heart, I wanted to make sure that I did this one justice. So lots and lots of greens in there because the borrowers are often walking around in between blades of grass and underneath leaves because they're very tiny. I wanted to make sure that there was at least one stripe of red in there because my favorite scene is when Arrietty looks up through the foliage and you just see her in her little red dress among all the different leaves and wildlife. That is often what is used for the cover of this movie as well, is just little bitty her in all of the greens. So that's what the red is for. And then on top, I end up having an acorn, a flower, a pearl, and a leaf. All of things I thought a borrower would like to collect when they're going out to scavenge to bring to their little home and use for pretty things in their house.
That's just adorable.
The end hint was tiny, of course, because Arrietty is tiny, and the visual image was the pen that she uses in the movie. So she has a little pen that she uses as both a walking stick and a sword.
I think we may have kind of given it away with that one. Lots of people were like, there's a pin, it says tiny, and there's a red thing. It's Arrietty. And we were like, how did you guess? We would have never guessed that you would have guessed. The next soap design is Underwater Alchemist, which we based off of Fujimoto, who is Ponyo's father in the beautiful movie Ponyo. So this movie is a kind of off-the-wall retelling of The Little Mermaid. It's nothing like the Disney one, trust me. I'm sure that we have all seen Disney's version of The Little Mermaid, but it is about a little girl who is half fish. She takes a shining to a wee lad that's on shore, and she turns into a human. And many adventures ensue. Just watch the movie. It's even better than The Little Mermaid, in my opinion. What do you think? Maybe not.
I think it's really wonderful, and I think it's definitely something you can watch with your kids, and because it's about two little kids, your kids will be very engaged. You should definitely talk about the fragrance.
So everybody pretty much already guessed why I picked the colors for this one. The bottom of the soap is based off of the shirt that Ponyo's father is always wearing, and his hair, the mother's hair, and Ponyo's hair are all red, and that's why I made that top just look like a swirly mop of hair. The fragrance oil, a lot of people thought was kind of weird. It's witch's brew, and the reason that I picked that is that he is an underwater alchemist. He is tasked with taking care of the ocean and making sure that all of the fish and all of the plants can live in harmony together, so he's kind of the protector of the ocean. And the gold on top is also based on all of his treasures and vials that he uses to keep his potions in, especially his big pitcher. And the pearls are for underwater bubbles. The hint is pretty obvious. It's father. And lots of people guessed Ponyo's father, which is exactly correct.
We also put the word father in a triangle, which in alchemy stands for water. Did you know that?
I did not know that.
I made all the hints. Secret soap number 6 is called Forest Spirit, and it is based on the movie Princess Mononoke, and you can see down here what the stamp is going to look like and why I couldn't show you in the video. So Princess Mononoke is what I would call an epic, and it definitely is geared toward an older audience.
Whenever Katie says epic, I don't think that she's really doing it too much justice, because this movie feels like it spans an entire world. Forests, cities, the main character travels so far for a very tragic reason. It is very emotional, and it was especially emotional whenever I took Katie to go watch it in theaters when they re-released it for theatrical release last summer.
And we cried.
We cried multiple
cried
times.
big time.
It is a lovely movie if you are old and mature.
Because we are definitely both of those things. Old and very mature. So I designed this one very specifically, and that's why it got a little bit of an upgrade. So if you guys remember in the first video, I designed it with some gray and greens. This is supposed to represent the forest that they spend a lot of time in. However, I ended up changing the gray out of it and putting more green into it because I wanted it to feel more full of life, and the gray was making me feel dead.
Which, I mean, it does get kind of dead towards the end. But...
It does, but I'm focusing on the happy here. I just think this looks so much more alive. On top, I ended up putting a blue and a purple because, again, no spoilers, there is a character that is basically a guardian over a certain area. They're very sparkly, they're very regal, they're very twinkly, and at some point this character dips down into the forest and transforms himself. So during that transformation, he is blue and purple, and they animated it to look so alive and sparkly, and that was a very impactful moment for me in the movie, seeing that like entire forest illuminated with his presence, changing colors coming down. So I wanted to sort of represent that in the bar, to have the blue and the purple dipping down into the green, and then it's all sparkly with blue and purple on top. So that's why we designed Forest Spirit this way. We will of course be stamping the kodama onto the front of all of the bars in the green area, and the kodama are just the cutest little people. I just had to include it somehow because they're just so precious. So the little ticket hint at the end of the video was a moon and the word night.
And let's just say that night has a lot to do with Princess Mononoke.
That's right.
The Night Walker. My last soap is Ocean Flight, which is based on Porco Rosso. So Porco Rosso is a very, very quirky movie, and I don't know if it's for the faint of heart because the main character is a pig man.
It's really weird.
He is an anthropomorphic pig, which means he looks like a human, and it's a little bit strange, but trust me, it is worth getting into it because the character is genius, because the movie is hilarious, and the flying is amazing. Also worth noting that this soap could be based on The Wind Rises, which is also an excellent movie, but I did want to mainly base this on Mr. Porco Rosso in his lovely red plane. So I mostly explained it in the video, but the bottom layer is based on the sands of the sea, especially Porco Rosso's hidden cove. And then we have two lovely waters that can be found in said cove, and then the sky and the clouds, which he's always flying through. And lastly, on top, we have his iconic red plane.
I don't remember what the hint is for that one.
Pig.
Big oinker. I know.
Oinker a flight.
When pigs fly. You can't remember your own hint.
So the hint that we put on the ticket is antique, and this works with both of the movies that I mentioned because they're both based on antique planes. And also Porco Rosso wears a very antique piece of headgear.
Oi, canoy, there goes the baby boy. He sits there and screams when we're trying to film the theme.
When we're trying to film our dreams.
So my son is teething and absolutely could not make it alone in there, so he has joined us for the final bit of this video.
For the exciting finale.
The finale, of course, being Soot Sprite, based on Spirited Away, and this is where we get to throw back a teeny tiny bit to My Neighbor Totoro. So we've already talked about Spirited Away, and this is another character in the Spirited Away movies. There are little soot sprites that help carry coal to the boiler man in his boiler room, which is quite frankly one of the scariest yet lovable characters in the whole film. I loved him immediately whenever I saw him, and then he turned around and had 8 legs and I was freaked.
I mean, this is actually, I don't know if I've told anybody this, but I was introduced to Studio Ghibli by seeing this scene first with the boiler man.
You didn't tell me that.
And it got stuck in my mind, and I was freaked out as a kid. And then I had to go find out what it was whenever I was older. And then I found it, and it was Spirited Away. I had watched it on television at our grandma's house when I was like 6.
So basically we have the Boiler Man to thank. So he needs his own soap. The Soot sprites appear, though, in My Neighbor Totoro. In that movie, 2 little girls and their father move into a house that has been abandoned for a while, and a kind old lady was talking to them about the dust sprites that lived there and the spirits that inhabited the house. And so you see little glimpses of the little Soot sprites in that movie as well. They're so adorable. So in the design, of course, we have the flames from the boiler room furnace licking up, and then we have little bits of coal floating around sort of in some dust, and then on the very top we have the actual Soot sprites themselves. Some of them have their eyes open, they're clearly running towards the fire to put their stuff in. Some of them are being squashed by bits of coal, which also happens in the movie. A few of them are getting squashed with coal, and that's super fun. And this was a really interesting way to kind of wrap up the entire theme, to pull it together with something really cute and make it very obvious what the theme was. So basically, this has been my favorite secret soap series yet, probably because I'm a lot older now. I was able to collab with somebody else while making it for something that we both jointly very much enjoy. It had a lot of different colors. Everything was very planned.
I have been hounded and hounded for these months that we had it planned, in the works, filming it, and people are saying, make Ghibli soaps. Where are the Ghibli soaps? You promised. I promised. We delivered.
That's right. And here they are, available for your viewing pleasure. The hint on the train ticket at the very end of that video just says dirty. Because I thought that was funny, and obviously Soot sprites are quite messy creatures. If you have made it to the end of this video, first of all, congratulations. You stuck around through a lot of rambling, and I hope that seeing a glimpse in our creative process and how we sort of analyze what we view and then turn it into like an actual physical product has helped you in some way, has maybe inspired you to go out and do something with your own creative abilities. Once again, whether that's in our medium, which is soap making, or in your medium, which could be any other type of art. All of these soaps will be available, once again, today, 3 p.m. Central Standard Time at royaltysoaps.com. If you like any of them, if you wanted it because maybe you have a significant other who loves the movies or you love the movies, once again, we'll probably only have these stocked once. They were very time-intensive soaps. We had to like add more days to make them because they're just really time-consuming and so much fun. I absolutely want to do the next secret soap series earlier in 2020 so that we don't have to wait this long because it's just too much fun. If you guys want to leave some suggestions down below for the next series we should put together, feel free to do that.
Some people made some guesses for this month, and I was like, Treasure Planet would have been an awesome theme.
Yeah, it absolutely would have. And Kenny and I love that movie, and it would be something that we could definitely make quite a few bars from. So that, we saw lots of Disney stuff, including like Cinderella, which of course I also really like. The uncanny resemblance between the Arrietty soap and Peter Pan is remarkable, and I hadn't even thought about it. So if you would like to leave a suggestion for another secret soap series in the future, go ahead. Put that down below. Who knows? We might just pick it. Be sure you do something fun for yourself today, whether that is going out and watching one of these Studio Ghibli films. Once again, if you're just trying to get into anime, you've never watched any type of anime, go watch Ponyo. But if you're a seasoned pro, we definitely recommend both Spirited Away and Porco Rosso. Or perhaps you would like to hold somebody else's child. Let me tell you the perks of that. You get all the benefits of the cuddles, of the playing, the giggles, without any of the responsibility of changing dirty diapers or waking up in the middle of the night. Kenny really has it good. Either way, do something that makes you super duper happy, and we will see you back here on Wednesday. And hey, if you want to find out what the theme is, what we're going to be doing for October videos and the November release, you can sign up for the VIP newsletter down below. I always tell y'all in that, and you get to know before anybody else. Yeah, he'll get you good. So until next time, have an absolutely royal day, and bye for now. Oh, yeah.